Hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Touchline Talk, your Wednesday morning LNobbins show, where it's a Q&A situation, conversational back and forth show, where I do have some key topics that we can touch on, but for the most part, it is, as I say, a back and forth conversational situation where we have a conversation. Funnily enough, that is what that means. Hello to everyone in the chat who's already here. Hello if you're watching on the replay. There are a couple of topics that I think might be of interest today, but again, I'll be informed by you guys in terms of what you would like to discuss. The thing with PSG crashing out of the Champions League, I think it's pretty apt to discuss that whole situation, particularly in the context of Mbappe versus Haaland and that ongoing debate, which is never going to die. I know it's not the end of the season, but I don't particularly care. I sort of want to talk about the Premier League team of the season as well, because I don't agree with people who think that you've got to wait until the end of the season. I think that most teams have already played 36 out of 38 games. What is that as a percentage? PJs, these aren't PJs, this is the top. What is that as a percentage, guys? 94.7%. So they played 95% of their games. I'd be very surprised if I was influenced by a final 5%. But we shall. But to be fair, if like Foden goes off a cliff and I don't know, Rodri absolutely pops off, then maybe I'll change my mind. But I doubt it in terms of like team of the season and player of the season. So I do think it's an appropriate time to discuss it. Hello, Jordan. Big up to you. Yeah, big up to Kishan, big up to Johan. They're not PJs, McMahon. And hello, Faisal, who is from Pakistan. Love to see that, guys. Do me a favor, if you are watching the show and you enjoy my content, leave a like on the video, because it's free and it does help out. And it lets me know that you guys still want to continue watching these shows. I think we should probably start, though. Big up to Nan Bread as well, of course. I think we should probably start, though, with Mbappe, and as I say, I've got this obviously a City-focused channel, and the comparisons with Haaland, because I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I think there's a very weird snobbery when it comes to comparing these two players. First and foremost, I think Mbappe is currently the better player. Let me just say that as of right now. I don't want the people to get twisted. But the idea that there is this massive chasm between the two, or that Mbappe is this bastion of all things football and is the perfect footballer, and Haaland is like sort of, I don't know, borderline anti-football, and he can't actually do anything other than put the ball in the back of the net. I mean, if that was all he could do, by the way, pretty good skill to be able to do the hardest thing in football. I can't believe we're downplaying that. But that's I think snobbery is the right word, and I think elitism as well is also the thing that annoys me with it, because again, it's almost as if there is this conversation which doesn't exist, and I see pretty influential people online or in punditry saying things like Haaland will never, ever be better than Mbappe because it's impossible for him to be regarded as the best in the world. It's impossible for Haaland to be regarded as better than Mbappe. And they don't say it, but they mean because of his like skill sets. And again, they don't say this, but by that they mean they don't think the Haaland skill set should be as notable as Mbappe's skill set. And I don't think that's fair, because why can't it be? For example, last season, hopefully we can all agree here that Haaland was much better than Mbappe last season. Haaland was the best player in the world last season. We all know he should have won the Ballon d'Or. That was a Ballon d'Or winning season, right? What if Haaland did that and proceeded to have seasons better than Mbappe, like 3 or 4 years in a row? Then wouldn't he be regarded as the better player? Surely, by definition. But because like, again, Mbappe has, as Andrew says, Mbappe has pace. Mbappe looks pretty coming off the left, and because he can dribble to a very good standard, it's therefore not even a conversation. For me, that just, when people say that, they are out of themselves as people who think that aesthetics matter more than actual football. I think that's what people say. That's what people are meaning when they say that, and I don't quite get that. And just on Mbappe, without necessarily, I guess we can continue comparing him to Haaland. He's 25 years old. He's not a young player anymore, so he's 25. He's going to be 26 in December. He's not had one season which has been even remotely close to winning a Ballon d'Or. These are high standards, sure, but when people talk about Mbappe, they are putting him pretty convincingly into best in the world conversations without really even a competition. I did a tweet saying I don't think that's an inarguable thing to say that Mbappe is not the best player in the world. I think you can say it, definitely. There's a strong argument to be made. I don't know if I agree with it though. And a large part of that is because, again, he's going to be 26 in December, still not had close to a Ballon d'Or winning season. Rightly or wrongly, most people don't care about his seasons with PSG. They care about what he's done with France. Then they care about what he did with Monaco, because PSG is a one-team league. You've only got to look at the wage bill to have a look at that. It's nothing like the Premier League, where it's actually pretty even at the top, and actually the team that's been winning it the past few years hasn't even been the biggest spender. PSG, on the other hand, is on like a bar graph, a bar chart. A PSG are over here, everyone else is like over here. And even in those seasons, they didn't actually win the league every single time. Like Lille won it one time, and there's another team that won it. Was there another team that won it? Maybe it was just Lille, and maybe it was Mbappe's Monaco I'm thinking of. Or did Monaco win it again? I don't know. Let me know, guys. Am I misremembering? In like the last 8 years, Lille won it. Who else won it? I'm pretty sure there was another team. Was it Monaco? I don't know. But yeah, the point I'm making is that most people, I think, don't really care about what he's done with PSG. It'll be interesting to see what happens now. He inevitably goes to Real Madrid. But the fact of the matter is that he's been at PSG for however long and wasn't able to lead them to a Champions League victory, which is what most people expected of him playing in the French league. And yeah, just that's sort of like a little mini rant to open the show, because I don't think it's fair to say that he's like chasms higher than Haaland. I think we sort of people place Mbappe in too high a regard. I think again, people say that he's the best in the world as not even a question mark. They compare him to R9. They compare him to Messi, and he's so far removed from those players. It's not even close. R9 Ronaldo at his age had 2 Ballon d'Ors. Messi had 3, and they just had far superior individual seasons as well. So I like Mbappe, very good player, one of the best in the world. You could maybe say he is the best in the world. I don't even know if I agree. Is he better than Kevin De Bruyne, for example? I'm not talking about this season, generally. Is he better than him? If so, why? I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I think he is better than De Bruyne, to be honest. So, yeah, a little rant to open the stream. Hello, Beavers Mate for Life, sunny Manchester. Yes, it's actually all right today, isn't it? Jordan says, spoiled brat. Silver says, I always got hate for saying I'd rather Vinny to Mbappe on that left wing, and that's going to be interesting because excuses are made for him in terms of Henry, like Thierry Henry, who says that he's got to play out wide rather than central, even though he's like played central a lot and done it very well. So but then like last night, for example, he played out wide, and I don't think he was particularly impressive. So we can't have it both ways, can we? He's either got his best position, because that's something which is thrown at Haaland, that he can only he's a striker, whereas Mbappe can play equally good out wide and through the middle. It's like, well, which one is it then? Hello, Daniel. Macman says, can you just see Sancho rolling up the United dressing room with the Champions League medal? Yeah, guys, get your questions and comments coming in. It doesn't have to be anything specific about what we're discussing. The whole point of these streams is a conversation, and it's a Q&A show. Yeah, that is so... That would be hilarious, wouldn't it? It would be like... It's like the anti-Cancelo. Like, Cancelo leaves, and his team win the treble. Sancho leaves, and he ends up in the Champions League final. Someone asked us in the Discord server, Liam asked us just then in the Discord server, very interesting question. Is, in terms of quality, are Dortmund, no disrespect to Dortmund, are they the worst Champions League finalists in history? In terms of, if you think, so the Champions League being founded in 92, 93. Are they? They might be. Liverpool 05 are up there. Probably like, was it Monaco in 2004? Probably up there as well. They could be, to be fair. So it's incredibly impressive. Chelsea 2012. That's a good shout. They did have lots of good individual. I know they were like approaching the end of their careers, but they did still have some good names there. You know, I think of Cech, Drogba, Cole, Lampard. So yeah, Mata, was Mata there, or did he join the season after? I'm just trying to think of the team. Terry, I know he didn't play in the final, but him. Who did they have out wide that year? I remember they had Bertrand. They had Bertrand at left wing, didn't they? That was hilarious. People assume Mbappe's the best in the world every single season, but they never watch him play. No one cares about the French league. This is the issue for me, because I don't watch the French outside of like specific players who I'm interested in which case I'll like watch their back catalogue of games, like Doku, for example. I don't consistently watch the French league. But I do watch the Champions League. So for people who watch the French league, if you think that he's been as good in the French league as the Champions League, then that gives me a pretty good idea of how he has been. If he's been a lot better in the French league, then I can't really comment on it. But if not, then that's the thing. So PR says, well, I mean, probably is, to be fair. That is a fact, to be fair. Yeah. Again, if we're assuming that his Champions League performances have been similar or at the same level to his French league performances, then yeah, it's not even close. I don't get why Ram are interested in. Well, they need a forward, to be fair, Faisal, and they do need a forward. The goal from PR about to get worse. You're not wrong, to be fair. Haaland came to City and won our first Champions League and treble. If Mbappe goes to Madrid, wins Champions League, Madrid won many before. No, is it all non-breads? If the Ballon d'Or is based on performances, not PR, Foden should be higher in the ranking than Mbappe. Yeah, I can't believe that Haaland's higher in the ranking than Foden. That is a little bit crazy. Good morning, Dudley. How are we doing? Brass is saying Mbappe isn't the best in the world. It's very reactionary, but people do need to be objective. They don't get the same energy of Haaland. I agree, bruh. I agree. But I would say I'm personally not being reactionary because I don't think I've ever described him as the best in the world. It's always when Messi was in Europe, it was always Messi. He wasn't the best in the world last season. And I don't know if he's been the best in the world this season. So I don't think I'm going to agree that he's the best in the world, to be honest. I don't know who I do think is, like, outright. I actually don't know. Which I guess makes it fun, because it used to always be, yeah, it's Messi. And it's been Messi from like 2009 up until 2023 or whatever. It might still be Messi, to be fair, but I don't watch MLS. So I've got to count him out of the conversation based all on that. Mbappe's record World Cup is what really puts him apart from the Bruyne Hall, and I think him win the Ballon d'Or is a matter of time. Moving to Real Madrid may be a good omen, but he's got to win the Champions League for that to be the reality, I think, for him to win the Ballon d'Or. What I would say on the World Cup was he wasn't the best player at the tournament in 2018, wasn't even the best French player at the tournament in 2018, and he wasn't the best player at the most recent World Cup, probably not even the second best player, maybe third or fourth best player. So I don't know if I'm going to buy into that argument personally. He's been in the French League, but recently he's fallen off, so it sounds like it's quite close. Imperative says Mbappe's not a 9 for Real Madrid. He's going to have to be, though, isn't he? Because Vinny Jr. exists. So, I don't know. Yeah, for me, Griezmann was France's best player, Elder. I totally agree. How you doing, Elder, by the way? Guys, if you're enjoying the show, please leave a like on the stream. Do it for me if you enjoy my content. If you don't enjoy my content, don't do it. But if you are here, I assume you do enjoy it. So please leave a like on the stream. Let's start with a 50 likes, shall we? Beavis Mate says there's been some good players this year, but nobody is clear. Yeah. I tweeted about this. It all depends on the Champions League, realistically. If City got further into the competition, then Foden or Rodri would have won it. If Bayern Munich win it, then Harry Kane has a really good chance based on his... I know he's not won the Bundesliga, but based on his individual record in the Bundesliga, he could very well win it. If Real Madrid win it, then Bellingham's probably going to win it. But it might also depend on the international stage. For example, if Brazil win the Copa America and Real Madrid win the Champions League, then Vinny Jr. probably has a very good shout. If Germany win the Euros and Wirtz is player of the tournament, then there's an outside chance that he's going to win the Ballon d'Or. If Foden wins the Ballon d'Or and is player of the tournament, then there's a potential chance if Rodri wins it with Spain. So it's all going to heavily depend on the Euro. Oh, yes, exactly, LDS. So if Spain win, then and Rodri plays well, then Rodri has a chance. Of course he does. I'd personally give the Ballon d'Or to Vinny, should he win the Champions League for Madrid, nor Hayden Bellingham. If you speak to Real Madrid, again, I don't claim to watch every Real Madrid league game. I've watched them in the Champions League. So if people have watched La Liga this season, you can let me know. If Bellingham's performances in La Liga across the season, again, I watch him at the start of the season, less so middle and end. If Bellingham's performances in La Liga across the season have been similar to his Champions League performances, then that gives me an indication of how good he's been this season. And based on his Champions League performances, he's not been near the level of Vinicius Jr. or Foden, for example. So if he does win the Ballon d'Or, it would be a shame. It would be a shame, unless the Euros happens, obviously. If he wins the Euros with England, he can have whatever he wants. If England win the Euros, Kane wins... Again, Alan, probably. Might depend on how Bayern do in the Champions League, though. But yeah, captaining your team to the Euros is going to give you a pretty good shout, especially if you've had a good individual season at club level. Jason says Mbappe struggled to play at 9. Yeah, he does seem to be more isolated there, doesn't he? It's not easy, this number 9 stuff, is it? It's almost as if being a striker is the hardest thing to do in football, and scoring goals is the hardest thing to do in football. Weird. Yes, Brett, how are we doing? Bender says Mbappe was only good after 80 minutes of domination for Argentina in the World Cup final. I do personally think that World Cup final performance is maybe the most overrated performance in football history. And I don't like how people go, oh, people really trying to undersell a hat-trick in the World Cup final. Well, yes, I am, I guess, because if people are trying to say it's the most impressive World Cup final performance ever, then yeah, I guess I am. 2 penalties in the first instance, 80 minutes of not playing particularly well, 1 wonder goal. Yes, I'm not going to take that away from him, but didn't play well for most of the game. How can I say it's the best World Cup final performance? I can't. Bellingham had a massive drop-off at game week 24, so he's been disappointed for a third of the season, you think, Elder? I agree, Daniel. Foden's chances are gone, sadly. If Madrid win the Champions League, it's definitely going to Bellingham, says Matt Kwan. Again, Vinny Jr. might be a thing. Hello, Balatubi. Good morning. I don't want Bellingham to win. Overrated, says Louise. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the show, please leave a like on the show, on the stream. Remember, every single 11 a.m. Wednesday, we do these shows. Tap that little bell icon so you always get notified so you never miss another one of these shows. If you're watching on the replay and want to watch it live, 11 a.m. Wednesday, every single time, Touchline Talk with Nobbins. Sorry, since the start of 20... Oh, so even worse than Elder. Mbappe Vinicius are lazy. I'm not sure about that, but I just don't know how the dynamics are going to be interesting, because you would expect it to be Vinicius on the left, Mbappe centrally, and then like Valverde or Rodrigo on the right or whatever. In which case the question becomes, what do you do with Bellingham? Because he's obviously got to play, but he right now is taking up zones and positions which Mbappe as a 9 would want to take. So he's not going to be able to play as this 10, which everyone's now decided he's going to be, unless there's a massive system change. So he's probably just going to go back to being played as an 8, where he's played all his career. And then, hopefully, the idea that Bellingham can only play 10, or the whole world will implode, hopefully that story can end, because it's just boring. Hello, Joe. Haaland scored 2 penalties this weekend. He did. I lost my respect for the Ballon d'Or. So many robberies in the last decade. Yeah, and look, I've never really thought about the Ballon d'Or in that context. Maybe because no one from my team's been involved, so I've not really cared or taken that much of an interest. But when one of your players is involved and you know that they should win, you look at the track record of it and you go, oh, like, yeah, this is just ridiculous. I mean, the worst award for me, maybe in football history, was Saka winning Young Player of the Season last year. When the Player of the Season, who was eligible for it, didn't win it. That's, for me, probably the worst award ever. So, and it's obviously fun to talk about awards. We are going to talk about the Premier League Team of the Season, maybe Player of the Year. But that was almost sort of like a watershed moment. And I guess it has, like, do you guys remember the Team of the Season in I think it was the 2020-21 season, you know, where Liverpool won their cup double? It wasn't the quadruple year. They won 2 cups. And City won the Premier League. And I think there were more than twice as many Liverpool players than City players in that Premier League Team of the Season. And I just couldn't believe it. That should have been sort of like a realization at that moment that these things aren't really serious or whatever. But yeah, then, as I say, then Saka winning that was ridiculous. And I remember tweeting that, and like and this Arsenal fan got really upset because they're like, oh, that's just disrespectful to Saka. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Haaland, by definition, had to win that award because he was the player of the season. Therefore, he was the best player out of a wider pool of players than the Young Player of the Season. So by definition, by winning the Player of the Season and by being eligible for Young Player of the Season, he had to win it by definition. It's nothing to do with how Saka played is irrelevant. If you win Player of the Season and you qualify for Young, you must win it by definition. That didn't happen. Really weird situation. Joe, don't worry, we'll get into Team of the Season. It was very strange. Mbappe's nice poo. Stones wasn't even in the top 30 Ballon d'Or list last season. Man of the match, yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, Jack, who has got Dortmund affiliations. Yeah, maybe we should have done it. But yeah, we were doing a watch along tonight though, and that's the thing, guys. We're doing a watch along tonight. Make sure to join me for that. Real Madrid versus Bayern. We'll keep a close eye on how Bellingham and Vinicius and Kane play. Benny says the closest our players got to win the Ballon d'Or was De Bruyne 21-22. Yeah, well, again, Haaland last year was like was like UK in Eurovision a couple years ago. Everyone knew that we were the best act, but by virtue of politics, we didn't win it. And it's the same thing with Haaland. Everyone knew he was the best player in the world last season. Everyone knew he had the best season. But by virtue of politics, he didn't win it. So he may as well have won it. He had a Ballon d'Or worthy season. And yeah, De Bruyne in 21-22, I can't believe he finished third. At least second, to be honest. I can't believe that they put in Mane ahead of him. I thought that was ridiculous. Last time Mbappe plays a winger, because Ramos is a striker, so couldn't do shit. Didn't even use his pace of power to his advantage. Haaland is clear. Yeah, that Ramos had an absolute stinker as well, didn't he? That was embarrassing. Keep your questions and thoughts coming in, guys. Remember, this is a conversation. But what I do want to move into is the team of the season, I think. We'll also touch on the Fulham game later. I know that we aren't at the end of the season. I don't particularly care. We've played 95% of the football. Most teams have. Outside of anything disastrous happening, it's going to be pretty evident. It should be evident who should be in the positions for team of the season. Now, again, I want your guys' help on this. I want your guys' thoughts as well. Should we be doing this? Because there's 2 ways we can do this, team of the season. We can either do it specifically by position, so, left back, left wing, right wing, etc. Or we can do it how it's actually done. So we can do 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, 3 forwards. So let me know what would you guys prefer us to do it as? Shall we do it as the actual individual positions, or should we do it as the more broad categories? So should we be doing 4 defenders? So technically you could have 4 centre backs, or it's got to be left back, right back. You guys want the second option? Okay, so that would be we're doing it via the category. So instead of doing left back, right back, you could in theory have 4 centre backs. That's fine. So that changes some things around a little bit. For example, I don't know now if there's going to be a right back in the team, but we can certainly now that I know that, I'll have a little think. I'll catch up on the chat as well. Luis Enrique played Mbappe as a 9 and left 2 natural strikers on the bench for both legs versus Dortmund, Cancelo, Ramos, and one. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, Henderson. I think Henderson won the journalist one, didn't he? Savio coming in, says TJ. Very happy. We need more wingers, I think. Also means that Foden's probably going to play more so in the middle. If we bring in a wide place, that's good. Yeah, you guys want the second one. Oh, Beavers wants the first one, to be fair. But yeah, broad option. Yeah, we'll go for the broad option. Now we'll start back to front. Again, I want your guys' input on this as well, guys. Goalkeeper. I think that this is maybe the weakest position in the entire team, first of all. And I think this season for goalkeepers might be the worst in modern memory. Personally. These are the names that are coming around, and you guys have already said them. So Raya of Arsenal, Alisson at Liverpool, Edison, Man City, Vicario at Spurs are sort of like the main names that are being floated. Ortega says Raul, great shout. The issue with that now, I think Alisson has probably reached the highest standard. The issue is he's been injured for I feel like a third of the season. So I don't know if you can actually, include Alisson by virtue of his injury situation, because he's not played enough games. Lerner, you've done a spoiler, but yes, I'll get into that. The Aston Villa keeper's an interesting one. Raya, I think he's made far too many injuries. He's made far too many mistakes. For me to consider him team of the season. I don't think he's been particularly impressive. I know he's won Golden Glove. I put that more down to the defence in front of him. I don't know if Raya's been that impressive in terms of his distribution across the course of the season, in terms of the mistakes he's been making. I don't think I can include him as team of the season. Likewise, Edison. I don't think he's been bad. But I think it's not been overly impressive. Martinez is an interesting shout. However, I'm going Pickford. I'm going Rogue. I think that's a perfectly reasonable shout, to be honest. He's been very consistent across the course of the season. Everton have one of the best defences in the Premier League. I think it's the 4th best outside of City, Arsenal, Liverpool. And this is Everton. And Branthwaite and Tarkowski are good centre-backs, of course, but they're not the level of Saliba and Gabriel, of course, or this season. I think that Pickford's been very good this season, to be honest. And again, and Beaver's mate says Pickford's been incredible in a poor side. I know the points deductions have been a thing, but they are still fighting for their lives ultimately. And if they stay up, it will be in large part because of Pickford and his heroics. So I'm going Rogue, and I'm personally locking in Pickford. I'll tell you what we'll do though, guys. I'll keep notes. I'll do my team of the season, and then we can do sort of like a community team of the season as well. So, if I do like a Premier League lineup selector. So this will sort of be like if you want, this can be sort of like a joint autocracy and democracy situation. So I'll have mine as that. We want a 4-3-3, don't we? 4-3-3. Let's have Well, mine's actually going to be a 4-2-3-1, as we'll get into. Vicario is such a shame, isn't it, Jack? Vicario has completely disappeared for whatever reason. Alisson has barely played. Yeah, exactly. Alisson's missed like a third of the season. I was well happy with saying Vicario up until like January, maybe, and he's sort of like like Spurs, has sort of fallen off a cliff a little bit. It's really hard to justify it's hard to justify any keeper. That's why I think Pickford might be the most reasonable shout. It's hard to justify Alisson because he's missed a third of the season. It's hard to justify Vicario because he's dropped off second half of the season. It's hard to justify Raya because whilst there's been some consistency, there have been really weird mistakes and he's not been overly impressive. Same with Edison. Flecken versus City is a great shout, Hassan. But yeah, you guys have said, so what do you got? But you guys now, just like one comment now, you don't have to agree with me. I'm going to have my team and then I'm going to make your team. So one comment in the chat now, guys. Who is your goalkeeper? You don't have to agree with me. Who is your goalkeeper? And the majority comment I will have as the as your guys' lineup. I know what mine is. As I said, I've got Pickford, but let me know, guys. Who are you guys locking in? This will be a democracy. So we've got a shout for Raya. We've got a shout for Alisson. So Raya's the leader so far. Carson. James Trafford, Pickford, Alisson, Pickford, Martinez. Oh, Jose Sar's an interesting one. Raya. So I think you guys have. I think there's been more Raya here than there has Pickford. So that's fine. Oh no, never mind. No, you guys are locking in Pickford. Don't be influenced by me, guys. You say what you want to say. You don't have to agree with me. It's absolutely fine. But there does appear to be more Pickford now. So we are going to lock in Pickford. Fair enough. Okay, guys. Good. We are in harmony. We are in unison there. Now, in case you've just joined, so we've locked in Pickford. I'll show the lineup at the end of the show as well. Unless you guys want it on screen right now, let me know. Would you like my face or the actual thing? If you joined late, we've decided that what we are doing is we are doing it via category. So we aren't doing left back, centre back, right back. We're doing defence. So we're doing 4 defenders, yeah? So we don't have to have a right back. We don't have to have a left back. Now, the centre back situation, and this is where it becomes an important distinction, because I think there have been more impressive centre backs this season than there have full backs. So I actually think I'm going to argue for at least 3 centre backs here, maybe 4. The two and Dean's already said the 2 obvious ones. You've got to have Gabriel and Saliba in there, obviously. I'm going to say you also need to have Van Dijk in there. I think Van Dijk has been the best defender in the Premier League this season. And that up until like March, he was getting team of the year shouts. Player of the season shouts. Because Liverpool have dropped, he's now dropped out of that conversation. I don't think that's necessarily fair. I still think that Van Dijk should be included in this conversation. So I'm personally going to have Van Dijk in there. Because again, I think he's been the best defender in the Premier League. Saliba, I think he's been the second best. So I think you've got to have him in there. Gabriel, I'm going to have him in there as well. So that leaves, and for me, I don't think there should really be an argument there. I think everyone should hopefully have Van Dijk, Saliba, Gabriel. If you guys disagree with that, let me know. But I think those 3 are locked in. The question becomes about who's been the 4th best defender in the Premier League this season. Lots of people are saying Gvardiol. I'm going to disagree, because I don't think Gvardiol has been City's best defender this season. And don't forget, guys, we aren't doing specific left back, right back. We're just doing 4 defenders. So I think some options are Gvardiol, Ben White, Conser at Aston Villa, if you want. Who else? People might want to say Van der Ven. I'm propping Akanji. Akanji, and you guys are saying it as well. Akanji, as we all know, as majority City fans here, has been Manchester City's best defender this season. Branthwaite's a very good shout, Beavis Smith for life. Very good shout. He's been City's best defender this season. I think he's been better than Ben White. I think he's been better than Branthwaite. I think he's been better than Van der Ven. I think he's been better than Gvardiol. I think he's been better than Trent, Gomez, etc., etc. I think Akanji deserves to be in here. We all know how good he is as players. We all know how underrated he is by non-City fans. The ability to play in at least 4 different positions / roles, 4 different roles this season at least is crazy. Ronnie, I'll call you Ronnie, yeah, or Beaver. So I am Hassan says defense. Not Akanji though. So he having in over Akanji. If you guys don't think Akanji should be in, that's fine. Who should get in over Akanji? But it looks like we are pretty much in harmony here because everyone is saying Van Dijk, Gabriel, Saliba. Lots of people are saying Gvardiol, to be fair, but I think that's before they realised that it has to be. It doesn't have to be individual positions. Casemiro as a defender. Ake going under the radar. It's just because Akanji's been better than this season, I think, Emmanuel. And also, let's not forget, Ake at the start of the season made a lot of errors which led to goals. Think of the Wolves game. Think of the Spurs game. He didn't have the best start to the season, so I can't really I can't forget that. Whereas I don't think Akanji's, apart from like against Leipzig, where he just had a big bozo moment. Liverpool penalty as well, yeah. So for me, I don't think it's deserved bias. I think Akanji deserves to be in there, to be honest. So does anyone have a back 4 which is different to Van Dijk, Saliba, Gabriel, Akanji? Because remember, we don't have to have a left back. We don't have to have a right back. Name a left back better than Gvardiol. No. I think if we were doing positions, Elder, I would have Gvardiol left back 100%. But because we aren't, because again, we're being broader, just defense, we're doing 4 defenders. I think Akanji's been better than Gvardiol this season, so I'm having him. Romero's been good. If I was going to include a Spurs defender, I'd have Van der Ven personally. Hello, Julie. Just because the defense has been shambles doesn't mean every player in that defense has been bad. And Akanji's been very good personally. Been very good. Dogi, for me, Gvardiol has been better. We could see most goals from Ake and Walker. If not for Akanji and Diaz, we'd be in the mud. So is anyone White's been better than Akanji? I think it's close. I don't know if I personally agree, to be honest. I think he's been very good. I just don't know if he's been as good. So I know you guys are definitely locking in Gabriel. We'll pop him at left back just because he's left-footed. So Van Dijk, Saliba, and again, guys, I've gone for Akanji. Is there a big disagreement with Akanji? Because what I'm doing right now is your guys' team. My back 4, personally, he can, but Akanji can also play right back, so it makes more sense to pop him there. I'm personally gone for a back 4 of Gabriel, Van Dijk, Saliba, and Akanji. But let me know what your guys' back 4 is. I think 4 defenders, but who would you play on the left out of those 4? Well, I guess so. Just because again, the team doesn't necessarily have to function, but just for completeness, I'd have Gabriel at left back because he's left-footed. So it's sort of it fits the aesthetic. Anson from Palace for a shout. I'll go with Akanji, says Julie. Can't lie, Julie, I've not watched nearly enough Crystal Palace to comment on Anderson, but that's an interesting one. Akanji's been brilliant. He's been asked to play more positions. It's a good point. Left back Robinson from Fulham. Reyes, Saliba, Akanji, Gabriel, Van Dijk. So we've got the same 1 bill in terms of that back 4. Ben White's has been criticised early in the season by Arsenal's own fan base. Can't be the best if he isn't consistent. And Contra as well, to be fair. Anyone but Gabriel. Up Akanji. More City players, the merrier, says Hassan. Sound says 4-0 City hat-trick. Well, he got 4, didn't he, actually? So guys, again, you know, I don't think I'm leading this conversation. I don't know if I'm leading this conversation, but so far, my team of the season is the exact same as the chat's. Just to recap, we've got Pickford in goal, Akanji, Saliba, Van Dijk, Gabriel at the back. Now we move on to the midfield. And again, guys, there are 3 midfielders. Doesn't have to be, you know, you need a 6 and an 8 and a 10. You can have 3 defensive midfielders if you want. You can have 3 10s if you want. 3 midfielders. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Because obviously, Foden gets into the team. Obviously. So the question becomes, and obviously he's played in midfield for most of this season, but he has also played on the right. So the question becomes... No, we'll get to that question later because obviously Foden gets into the side. So for now, let's blank out one midfield slot and let's just focus on the other 2 slots because Foden has to get in. Obviously he does. I think, personally, that this is a very good shout for the midfield. Rice, Rodri, blank, and I'll get into my blank later. Rice and Rodri, I don't think it's an argument. It has to be those 2. Guimaraes, a salty critic, as a rogue shout. Of course. So, and also that makes it a very nicely secure 4-2-3-1. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pop in Rodri, of course, because again, this isn't even a discussion. I feel like this is maybe the easiest one, Rodri and Rice. Of course it is. Imagine Rodri and Rice at a sort of base. Exactly. Now, this is where it becomes interesting. It's not even an argument, Rodri Rice, of course. Like, Rodri, you could say he's been the best player of the season. Lots of people would say Rice had been the best player of the season. So, of course, they get in. Now, it's true because Foden hasn't been in the midfield all season. If we're saying he did, it's Foden, Rice. Here's the thing. Because Foden has played in the midfield for most of the season, around 60% of the minutes, but he has also played around 40% out wide. So if we wanted to, guys, we could have Foden in one of the forward 3 spots. Now, the reason why this becomes tricky is because... Okay, I guess it doesn't become tricky. No, it does become tricky because Ødegaard has been very good this season. So if we don't put Foden in the midfield, we're obviously missing out on Ødegaard, who has been fantastic. That is the issue here. So I actually think we might want to reverse engineer and work backwards. So I tell you what we'll do. Can we all let's lock in? Let's move on to the forward line for now. Let's lock in some of the forward players. Can we all agree that Watkins has been the best forward in the league this season? Because if we can agree with that, that's one of the forward slots locked in, and we can just pop him up top. I'm going to type it in, assuming we can agree on that. Hopefully we can. I think he's got to be in, just by virtue of like the fact that he's playing for Aston Villa. I don't like to just use goals and assists ever, but they are staggering. They are staggering, aren't they? Like the fact that he's not even taken a penalty is ridiculous. Yeah, so I've not locked in I've not locked in that final midfield. We have locked in Rodri and Rice, but we have locked in one of the forwards. We've still got 2 forward players and 1 midfielder to go. Yeah, Dean, I think that he's Watkins has just got to get in, hasn't he? He's just got to get in. So the question then becomes, where are we playing Foden? Because we could pop Foden in a forward position and then Ødegaard in the midfield. Or we could pop Foden into midfield, but in which case you don't get Ødegaard. So what forwards are we talking here, guys? I'm going to name some players who I think deserve a mention in terms of the forward line. Solanke. Anthony Gordon. Been ridiculous this season. Isak. Forget Haaland is Haaland. His numbers, even this season, are steep and no one leaves. I just don't know. Oh, I mean, we can throw in Haaland there to be fair, 'cause he's not been bad this season by any means. He's not been bad this season. Cole Palmer, but Jared Bowen, Saka. This is, I think, this is the trickiest area of the team. KB with half a season has better stats than if De Bruyne had played all season, then this wouldn't be a question. We'd have De Bruyne in the midfield. That's what I'm saying, Gustavs. Foden can go up top if we want to have Ødegaard in the midfield. So, guys, what I want from you now is, excluding Watkins, because we've all agreed that he's been the best forward player. Again, don't worry about right wing, left wing. We can have 3 strikers in this team if we want. If you think Haaland's been better than Gordon, for example, don't worry about the fact that Gordon's probably been the best left wing. You can have Haaland in there, for example. What I want from you guys now is the 2 best forwards in the season, not including Watkins, because we've established Watkins deserves to be in there. Who've been the 2 best forwards? Let's not include Foden in there for now. Who have been the 2 best forwards? Don't include Foden. Don't include Watkins. Who have been the 2 best forwards for you guys? I'll list some more names. You can have Haaland. You can have Saka. You can have Palmer. You can have Gordon. You can have Isak. You can have Solanke. You can have Jared Bowen. Give me 2 names there, guys. Give me 2 names. Saka and Palmer for Zed. Palmer and Isak, says Jack. Watkins, Palmer, says Tom. Son. Didn't even think about Son. Palmer, Saka, Palmer, Isak. Bernardo, says Beavers. Pound for pound, Solanke and Bowen have had a better season than Ødegaard. I think Jared Bowen's an interesting shout, you know. I could back it. You can't leave out the best goal scorer this season. Haaland needs to be there. McAus has had a great season. Yeah, Palmer, Isak, Haaland, Palmer, Watkins, Palmer. Stop the Ødegaard debate. Even Fernandez has had a better season, says B. April Mateta gets an honorable mention. Interesting. Lots of people are. I think the most common one here is Palmer and Isak. If you want 3, so it can be 3 strikers. If you want 3 strikers, Isak left, Haaland down the middle, Watkins on the right. Ødegaard goes to the first part of the season. He didn't show up till after they went to Dubai, which was in Jan. Right, most of you, right? I think, guys, the majority consensus seems to be that Foden needs to play in the middle. So we're going to have him there. Isak is, I think, has been the most common forward here. So we're going to put in Isak, I guess. We'll pop in Isak on the left, just for argument's sake. Because he scored Kyle Walker cutting in on that left side. So the question becomes now, guys, who has been, if we've got Watkins, Isak, and we've got Foden in the middle. Foden's locked in the midfield, so don't worry about that. Who has been the 3rd best forward this season? Who's been the 3rd best? Or the 2nd best if you think Isak's been 3rd best. Who deserves that 3rd slot? Haaland, Palmer, Saka, Gordon, Solanke. Who deserves that final slot, guys? Citizen says Haaland needs to be there. Palmer. Has Haaland been better than Palmer this season, is the question, the Citizen. Lots of people saying Palmer seems to be the more... Palmer's the most popular shout here. Bendiv says Haaland. Who's been better this season, guys? Haaland or Palmer? What do you think? Last 4 positions, Palmer or Haaland for me, but I'm leaning to Palmer. Got to be Saka, big game player, mad stats throughout the injury, says Zed. Colin says Haaland. We're talking about performances. I'm not particularly interested in who's got the most goals. I'm interested in who's been the best player across the course of the season, in your guys' opinion. You think Palmer over Isak? Palmer held the team together. Palmer's versatile, can play in a lot of positions. Definitely Haaland, that wouldn't be debatable if not for injuries. Palmer says Tiki. Majority rule seems to be Palmer. Daniel says Palmer's been the Haaland season, let's be honest. I'm going to go with majority rule. Again, this is your guys' team, not necessarily mine. I agree with the midfield, definitely. I don't actually know what I think about the forward line when it comes to just doing categories. I think Watkins has to be in there. I actually don't know. Maybe Palmer probably should be in there. He probably should be. Palmer's been a one-man team, which big games he stepped up in. Watkins, Haaland, Palmer front three, says Hassan. Watkins, Haaland, Palmer, says the Citizen. Well, by majority rule, you guys haven't actually got Haaland in your team of the season. Just an FYI. Majority rule, you guys have got Palmer, Watkins, Isak. Now, that might not be what all of you think, but that is the vast majority of you guys. You've locked in Isak, Foden, and Palmer. So let me just get this up on the screen right now, maybe. We can have a look at this. If I go to my internet situation. Here we go. This is what you guys have decided on. This is your team of the season. This is definitely mine up until the forward line, 100%. Foden's in the midfield, by the way. Foden's at 10. That's what that is. Playing a 4-2-3-1. I'm definitely happy with the goalkeeper. I definitely agree with the defense. I definitely agree with the midfield. And I don't even know if I agree with the... I don't even know if I agree with the forward line, but I might do. It might do. Looks mad without Haaland, says Julie. But you guys decided. You guys said Watkins, Palmer, Isak. You guys said it. This is your team, guys. I might have Haaland in my team. But can you say that Haaland's been better than Palmer this season? I don't know. It's tricky. Jack. Hey, I'm an influential man. What can I say? Erdogan needs to be in there, says Hassam. If you do, we could do that. We could do that. In which case, would you get rid of, like, Palmer and pop in Foden? Is that what you do? Maybe. Or would you get rid of Isak and pop in Palmer over there? Do you guys prefer that? But remember, we're not doing position, Salty Critic. We're doing categories. So forwards. We can change it to this if you guys think that Erdegaard's been better than Isak, for example. We can look at it net. We can look at it net instead and have Erdegaard up top as the midfielder, and Foden just goes to one of the forward positions because it doesn't matter because he's played in the midfield and in the forward line this season, so he can do both. Obviously, that's not an issue. There's a lot of English players here. We better win the Euros. That was good. If you guys prefer this, then we can do that. Then that's absolutely fine. Yeah, Dan says he likes that team. Erdegaard's been shit, says Bree. I think that's harsh. Not having the current Golden Boot winner is a crime. I know, high standards be, I guess. But again, you know, has Haaland been better than Palmer? Has he been better than Watkins? That's the question. So yeah, there you go, guys. That is yes, Salah does not make this team, guys. Too many defensive players. Hello, this is a brilliant team. But again, guys, we're not trying to make a team. We're just trying to do categories: defense, midfield, forward line. Zed says teams are much better with Erdegaard in. And if we count the amount of players, for example, like Arsenal have been very good this season, so they deserve a lot of players. They'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 players, which I think is very reasonable. Man City would have 1, 2, 3, which again I think is very reasonable. I think Villa deserve a representative. Liverpool deserve a representative. Palmer's had an outstanding individual season, so I think that's fine. I think that's fine. I actually think that might be better than having Isak in there instead. This might be my team of the season. I don't know. I'm flip-flopping on who's been better this season, Saka or Palmer. I actually don't know who I agree with. So, Alf, this is the chat's team of the season. but it might also be mine in fairness. Certainly the goalkeeper, certainly the defence, certainly the midfield. We can have the debate about Foden, forward line or midfield. But I think this is a very good team. Because once again, we're doing it by categories. 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, 3 forwards. I think that's absolutely fine. England better get to the finals, Zed. I tell you that right now. I'd tell you that right. If we don't, it's an embarrassment. But yeah, like the goalkeeper, you can argue with. I don't think you can argue with that defence, personally. I don't think you can argue with that midfield if we're having Foden as a forward player. And in this case, we are. So I don't think you can argue with that midfield. You can't argue with Watkins being in the team, and you've got to have Foden in the team. In which case, I think the only really arguable position is Palmer. And who you can have over him? Like Haaland, Bowen, Saka? Again, guys, like for people who are saying this is a stinky team, so you say, for Alf, you say the chat is washed. What is wrong with this team? Let me know. Haaland. This season, though, Alf, I don't know if I agree. Pickford is trash. Nah, this season he's been very good. The guy's mid. What? But Alf, it doesn't matter about positions. Again, it's about categories. It's about forwards. I can't agree that Ødegaard's mid. He's been, especially, I mean, he wasn't bad pre-Jan, but post-Jan, he's been unbelievable. Watkins inconsistent. I think it's been the opposite of inconsistent. That's not a stinky team. Could justify each selection. Ødegaard love is... Yeah, I don't know where the Ødegaard hate is coming from. He's been fantastic this season, to be honest, guys. He has been one of Arsenal's best players this season. I'd say he's been their 4th best player behind, Rice, Saliba, and Gabriel. He's been brilliant. Yes, exactly. So it's all... Don't worry about how the team works. Don't worry about how... is it too defensive? Etc. etc. It's about the performances across the season, and I'll recap. The upset from the chat is there are players that are just started to perform, not those with the most illustrious career. Yeah, this has got nothing to do with how you've been in your career. Nothing to do with how you've been in the past. This is all about individual performances this season. De Bruyne cannot make this team. He's only played half the season. De Bruyne does not get into the conversation, I'm afraid, guys. He can't. By virtue of him only playing half of it. So it can't be a thing. KDB doesn't make it. KDB over Ødegaard. Again, De Bruyne's only been there for half the season, so he can't. Haaland deserves to be there. Does he, though? He hasn't been... I don't think we can say he's had a better season than Watkins this year. He's obviously not had a better season than Foden. And I don't think most people say he's had a better season than Palmer. Hello, Musty. No, positions matter in respective category. So we need 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, 3 forwards. Ødegaard first season did very little. It was carried by Rice. He's done well last 10 games, but not a full season. I don't know if I definitely agree. Second half of the season has been a lot better, but it wasn't bad first half of the season. KDB of half the season, better performances than Ødegaard. Isak is 20. Yeah, hey, I was up for Isak being included, but there we go. So that's what I think, guys. I think I've now agreed with you guys that I think this might be my team of the season. Again, if we are having Foden out wide, if we're having Foden in midfield, then Ødegaard doesn't get in because Foden's been a lot better than Ødegaard. It's okay as a team for me. Palmer's the outlier. Love his goals have been pens. I prefer Bowen. Again, Bowen's a really good shout. Alvarez, shut up. If you count GA, Haaland should be at the top. Yeah, and for me, it's more to it. That manager of the season, I think Unai Emery. Aston Villa, seemingly out of however long underperforming under Gerrard and then the manager before him. I know they spent money and but incredible. They're going to be in the Champions League. I think you've got to give it to Unai, haven't you? That'd be my manager of the season. Dyche is a really good shout, actually. Oh, I like that shout. But has he been better than Watkins this season? Has he been better than Watkins this season? That's the question. And I don't know if he has. Ben White, I like him. I just think Akanji's been better this season, Zed. Emery, manager of the season. I agree. Why is Van Disney? Because he's been brilliant this season. Dash close second. Gary Neal's a rogue shout, but I like that. I agree. Manager choice. Yeah, Julia, I think it's got to be Unai for me. Okay, that's fair enough, sis. I don't agree. I don't agree. It's been better. But there we go. Odegaard should be ahead of Gabriel. Ben White over. Yeah, it's a very good point, to be fair, Jack. We're never going to fully agree, are we? There's always going to be people who don't agree. I've given my reasons. I think I've now concluded this is probably my team of the season. Again, I keep flip-flopping on Saka Palmer. I don't actually know what I think there. I think I'm happy with this. I'm just going to recap one more time. Unai Emery's the manager of the season, and then we'll get back into just like the general Q&A. Unai Emery's my manager of the season. I've got Pickford in because I think this year's been stinky for goalkeepers. Vicario up until Jan, it would have been Alisson, but he's missed a third of the season. Reyes made too many mistakes. Edison, likewise. There haven't been any standout performers. Pickford, however, has been consistent across the season. He's kept his team in the survival territory of all the points deductions. I think it's been really good. He hasn't got absolutely elite defenders ahead of him, like Saliba and Gabriel. Everton have the fourth best defence in the league. You can say it's down to Dyche, whatever. I personally think it's down to a lot of Pickford, so I'm going to have Pickford in there. The four defenders, Van Dijk, I think, has been the best defender this season. I think Saliba's been Arsenal's second best player this season. Gabriel, their third best. They've got to get in. Kanji's been City's best defender. I think he's been better than Ben White. He gets in there. Rodri and Rice have been two of the best midfielders in the world. People are saying Rice could win Player of the Season. People are saying Rodri could win Ballon d'Or, whatever. They've obviously got to get in. The 10 is a contentious one because if you're having Foden in the midfield, obviously you have Foden in there. For argument's sake, we've popped him out wide so we can accommodate Odegaard. Don't really care. You can have Foden in there and then like Isak, Saka, Bowen, one of them, Gordon, one of them, whatever. But I've got Odegaard in there. I don't think he was bad first half of the season. I think he was actually okay, but he has popped off second half of the season. Has been really good. Cole Palmer has been carrying a Chelsea side, unbelievable player this season. Watkins might end up winning the Golden Boot and most assists for Aston Villa without penalties. That's insane. Foden has been the best player in the Premier League. That is my team of the season, guys, with a couple of potential changes. And more importantly, that's sort of your guys' team of the season as well. So don't shout at me, yeah? That was via majority rule, and you guys wanted that. So there we go. That is my team, and sort of our team. I think it's the majority of this chat's team as well. Hello, Bjorn. Haaland has less games, but consider stats, he's much better. Again, I just don't know if I think he's better in general, Bjorn, 100%. I just don't know if I can argue for him this season. But again, it doesn't matter about you're getting caught up on the individual positions because we said at the start we're going to do categories. We're doing categories: defense, midfield, forwards. I pushed a team. No, I didn't. I asked you guys for your team, and then I said mine, and then I asked for a vote. I didn't push anything. I'll have you know. Chris Wilder is the boss. Brilliant. Without your input, that team would have smelly demonstrator in it. Watkins has been close to his top level, and Haaland has says Photon. I agree. Midfield and forward lines have just fallen apart. It's really outrageous. But there we go. Guys, we've been live for an hour. How are we doing on the likes? Not good enough. Let's get to 80 likes, please. Over 100 people watching. I want to get to at least 80. Come on, guys. Get it up here. Get it up here. If it was individual positions, it would probably be a lot simpler. And in fact, very quickly, just very quickly. Sorry, guys, I know I'm all over the place here. Let me just do. If I go to, I've closed it now. If I go to history, will it reopen? No, it won't. That's an L. Can this thing piss off, please? Hello? Thank you. Very, very quickly, guys. Very, very quickly. Let's now do it, but under just rapid fire. We're going to do this now purely based on positions, okay? So you've got to have a left back, you've got to have a right back. We're still going to do a 4-2-3-1. Right. So Gavardio, for example, now gets in. Guys, Gavardio gets in. You guys wanted Gavardio before. We can all agree that Saliba should get in. If we're saying that Van Dijk is better, then we're having Van Dijk in there. No, not Van Basten, you idiot. I think Ben White's been the best right back, guys. Who's been the best right back? Quickly. Who's been the best right back? Is it Ben White? Is it who even else would it be? Trent? Gavardio left back, White right back, Van Basten centre back. White, it's White, isn't it? Come on, guys. We all know Gusto's a great shout, but I think across the season White's been better. I do love Gusto though, so that's a great shout. We'll pop in Ben White. Rice and Rodri, yes. There we go. We are doing specific Ben White, but because we're doing specific positions, guys, I want a 10. There's no argument there. Right, this is where they are. Right, okay, guys. Who has been the best right winger in the Premier League this season? The three options are Saka, Salah, Bowen, Palmer. That's four. The four options are Salah, Saka, Bowen, Palmer. And let's be honest, it's not Salah, is it? Who's been the best? Palmer, Bowen, Palmer, Palmer, Bowen, Palmer, 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 Bowen, Palmer, Palmer. Again, we're doing positions. It's got to be a right winger now. Sterling. But everyone is saying Palmer, essentially. Palmer is the answer. There's so much Palmer there. Saka didn't get a sniff. So Salah, I totally agree with that, Hakimi. Yeah, first half of the season, I agree. Second half of the season, he's fallen off a cliff. McAtee. You guys have said Palmer. Guys, who's been the best striker this season? Watkins, Haaland, Solanke. Watkins, Haaland, Solanke. Who has been the best striker this season? Bloody Anthony. Haaland, Watkins, Solanke. Mateta. That's a lot of love for Haaland here. I'm amazed. Guerrero. Watkins, Jackson, Haaland, Watkins, Haaland. Right, some people are putting double comments, so it's Haaland, Watkins, Haaland, Watkins, Haaland, Watkins. Yeah, okay. Right, you guys are saying Haaland. I don't agree with that, but everyone is saying Haaland, so we're gonna have to put him in. No, I don't care. I'm overruling. This is an autocracy, and I'm putting him in. Right, guys, allow that. Don't worry about it. Left wing. There is a correct answer here. And I know the answer. I know the answer to who's been the best left winger this season. There is a correct answer. Who's been the best left winger, guys? I'm not going to say who it is, but I know who it is. Alf, definitely not. Ben Mee at left back. What a brilliant idea. He's left-footed as well. Gvardiol left wing. Oh, what a win. Yeah, this democracy can hold that, Canva. I'm not here to take part. I'm here to take over. Oh, God. Lads, shall I tell you who's been the best left winger this season? It's Anthony Gordon. It's Anthony Gordon, and I don't really know if it's that close, to be honest. Not only in terms of his like direct goal contributions, you know this guy's won like 10 penalties this season. You know how mental that is. You know how good he's been for Newcastle this season. I think it's Gordon. Gordon, Clay, Gordon. Oh, Kudus is a great shout. Musty, sadly, mate, this season, unless anyone can think of a better option for me, unless anyone can think of it, because if you think of the best three left wingers at like the three best clubs this season, Grealish has been in and out of the side. Doku is obviously not in contention. Martinelli's been poor this season. Trossard's been all right, but I don't think he's been like superb. Liverpool, less said the better. So I think based on that, I think it's got to be Gordon. You guys say Kudus, which could be a thing, to be fair. Oh, yeah, it's not looking good. Son's been a little bit disappointing this season, to be honest. Yeah, left wing is dead, guys, but I do think the answer is Gordon. You get some people saying Kudus, which again I think maybe is a close second. Southgate team, yeah. I've just realised that this team has got even more English. So if we don't win the Euros, I mean Rashford's been smelly this season. So yeah, it becomes a sticky situation. It becomes a sticky situation. I will leave this one down to democracy, guys. Kudus or Gordon? Who is it? And I will actually have a democracy on this one. Kudus or Gordon? Because I do like the Kudus shout. Who now? Who should we have? I will be democratic on this. I won't be cheeky and actually overrule. Bloody Trossard. Alf, that's your Belgian connection coming out, I think. Do a poll. That's a good idea. I should have probably done that. How do I do a poll? Here we go. Start a poll. Here we go. Yeah, this season, who has been better? Gordon? Kudus. Guys, I've started the poll. Get involved in that, guys. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. It's currently 12:13. I'm going to leave it until 12:15. It's currently incredibly close. 70 people have voted so far. 18 people, 56% Gordon. If you are a Kudus lover, you need to get the votes up because Kudus is only on 44%, and Gordon is taking the lead up to 65% now. You've got to, if you're a Kudus lover, you've got to close the gap here because Kudus is losing this fight. We've had 25 votes, 27. Trossard off the bench. It's like, well, he can make the bench, Alf. How about that? Garnacho scored the bicycle kick. Has to be him, Zakimi. Brilliant. Kudus doesn't even play left wing. Wait, where's he play then? Am I being stupid? I thought he played there quite consistently. It looks like Gordon's going to be winning this one, guys. He's currently at 62%. 32 people have voted. Where's he play when Bowen plays right wing then? And I'm going to leave it 30 more seconds. But it does look like a sure thing, guys. Unless it's a late surge for Kudus, you guys have locked in Gordon. Yeah, so he plays in both. That's fine. Gordon. There. Right, guys. Boom. And that was by democracy. You guys voted for that. I agree with it, to be fair. If we're doing positions, this is a very good team. The only real question mark for me is you could have Foden on the right. Oh, no, or maybe you'd have Palmer on the left there instead. I don't know. Palmer's not played there. Never mind. You could have Foden on the right and then Ødegaard in the middle, but then you're not playing Palmer, so that's a thing. No brand. No brand. Literally, mate. Look at the poll. Look at the poll. 60%. If that goes, if Kudus gets the majority rule here, then I will change it. And I will absolutely change it. I wouldn't, guys. I would not. I promise you on that one. Because I said it. I don't feel strongly either way. But with that, I will end that poll because he lost. We had 35 votes. You guys had the chance. You guys had the chance. 35 votes, only 40% for Kudus. It's a shame. Cheeky Nobcast pop up. Wait, what? Let's vote for the striker. But that was the one I was overruling because there was no reason going on. Any other position I'll let you guys vote on, but not the striker. You can vote on anyone else if you want. It flashed on the screen. Oh. Oh, that's because it's my screensaver. That must be why. No, to be fair, the striker one is the one I am overruling on. There was no there wasn't enough reason going on in that one, in my opinion. The other one though, but you don't have a point, Brand, because again, you can go on the other one if you'd like to. You have the opportunity to do that one. We revolt. You're gonna have to hold that, I'm afraid. Yes, sometimes, you know, what is it? Was it Socrates who said something like, you know, sometimes the people don't know what they want. Oh dear, but there we go. That is my autocracy. Yeah, just for the striker position, to be fair. You can have all the other ones. Any other position you guys want to vote on, you can do that. But striker, no. Yeah, if you guys had it your way, you'd have Julian Alvarez up top. Yeah, you'd have Julian up top, and I'm not having that. Is there a shout for Neto? It's an interesting one, Brie. I guess maybe just that injuries have been too much of a thing. See, this is where democracy leads you to, guys. Jackson. If I gave you guys the option of Jackson and Watkins, you guys would say Jackson. I'm very convinced of that. Nobbins is hating on Haaland. Right, okay, let's chill. I'm not hating on Haaland. You guys, I'm a big... I mean, this is a massive U-turn. This season, I've been the biggest Haaland defender and the biggest Haaland backer. And now I'm apparently hating on him. What's going on in the world? What's going on in this world of chaos? Edison Frank. You see, look at this. This is what you guys want. If I gave you a choice of Edison or Watkins, you guys would vote Edison. I'm convinced of that. And you justify it saying, well, Edison's better at penalties. So, you know. Jackson has been on off the whole. So yeah, Jackson does not get involved. That's what I'm saying, Brand. Exactly. I think I think the Haaland has been underperforming in respect of his finishing in particular. I think Watkins, on the other hand, is doing the exact opposite. You've got to also account for the fact that he's playing in an Aston Villa side where he's also been a creative demon as well. Doesn't he have the most assists in the league as well? Like he's been a strong creator for them. He's been the linchpin, the focal point of that Aston Villa attack in a season where they're going to get Champions League football. He hasn't taken any penalties either. I think he's got... Does he have, like, just behind Haaland now? Does he have the second most non-penalty goals in the league? Incredibly impressive stuff. That's why I think Watkins should get in there. It's a good point, Bree. It's a very good point. It's a very good point. Foden's the best left wing. Foden's only played left wing twice this season, though, Dean. So I can't be having that. Right, guys. Right. Okay. Who should play at striker? Right, guys. You wanted this? You wanted this? Yeah? Right, guys. Who should be the striker? Edison or Watkins? Come on. Come on. Come on. I know you want to vote for Edison, so do it. So do it. I dare you. I dare you. See? Look at this. 91%. And you guys wonder why I overrule you sometimes. Like, what is... Come on. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. He's simply better at penalties, to be fair. Because only 7%. It's absolutely outrageous behavior from you frauds. David James up top, what a great shout. Yeah. Oh, you little frauds and you little rats. Look at you all. Oh, you guys. Walker versus Pickford poll. The people have spoken. They actually have. The people have it. Oh my god. The people have. You know what? Fine. You're fine. There we go. Yeah, I hope you guys are happy. I hope you guys are happy with what you have done. Or it could be we're playing a 3-2-2-5 and, you know, we've got Pickford up top. Whichever way you look at it. Anyway, guys, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it? I like Team of the Seasons. I like them as long as they're done at a good stage in the season. Like some people do like Team of the Seasons, and we're only like 10 games into the season. It's like Team of the Season so far. It's like, guys, we've played 10 games. What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah, I hope you guys are happy, you little frauds and you little rats. That team would win the Champions League 3 times in a row. Oh my god. Oh, I accidentally closed the chat. Now I can't see what you're saying. Do not insult me. Do not insult me, guys, because I can't see what you're saying. Let me go back to the chat so I can actually unlock it. Got nearly 100 people watching this this advert. Wow, I've been hit with an advert on my own stream. What an absolute weapon of a man I am. Let's pop out the chat. There we go. There we go. Boom. Let's close that. Nice. And we're back. Team of the season in September. But genuinely, people do that. And I'm like, what are we doing, guys? Like, we've only played like 10 games. You can't do a team of the season yet. Or they do like combined 11 based on the season so far. We're like 3 games in. What's going on? Edson striker would carry Man City to a back-to-back treble, says Jay Lee. Scott Castle's made Champions League as Villa. He deserves the number 9. Oh my god. Edson's not missed a single chance this season and scored all his penalties. And that penalty, in fairness, was the best. It was the best penalty of the lot. He wasn't lying when he said he's the best penalty taker. He was not lying. Absolute scenes. Guys, we've been live for nearly an hour and 20. I've covered the main topics I wanted to. We've covered the Mbappe Haaland situation. We've covered... I don't even know what that means. We've covered the team of the season, which went swimmingly. Thank you guys so much for joining me so far. We'll be live for like another 15 minutes if there's any other topics you would like to touch on. If you are here and you haven't already done so, please leave a like on the video. It really helps. If you are able to go the extra mile and you want to become a YouTube member, you can do so by clicking the little join button, or there's a link in the video description. It's £3 a month. You get lots of lovely perks and you get to support me, continue making my content. So if you enjoy this content and you are able to, do consider becoming a YouTube member and part of the Ultras Club for a golden name badge as well. It's one of your many perks. But yeah, guys, if you've got any other sort of like final, like any other questions or thoughts, do feel free to let me know. What are we doing with Sergio Gomez? Is he a left back backup? Does he want to play right wing? I don't know. I think that Gomez is, to be honest, I think that his time is nearing an end. He's in fact, let's check. How many minutes has he played? Bree. Yeah, big up, Alf. Big up. If we go to Man City, if we go to FBref, if you guys want data, by the way, guys, FBref is the place to go. Not just on football, by the way, basketball, baseball. They should really sponsor me. Right, would you guys like to hazard a guess how many minutes you think Sergio Gomez has played in the Premier League this season? How many minutes do you think he's played? I'll give you some context. So, and he has played minutes, by the way. It's not like 0. Like, he has played. Jimmy 5 Chins, a huge support of the channel. Thank you so much for joining us, Jimmy. How you doing, mate? Hopefully you're still enjoying your member perks. Love that from you. Yeah, if we go to the Premier League data, so for context, Calvin Phillips has played 93 minutes. Okay, for context, Calvin Phillips played 93 minutes in the Premier League. Laporte, who has apparently played 12 minutes. I didn't even know that. So yeah, so for context, Calvin Phillips has got 93 minutes. Oscar Bob, 293. Nunez, 661. Ortega, 523. You're the best, Kungan. 184, says Nova. 90, says Jay Lee. Is 54 minutes this season. Sorry, 53 minutes in the Premier League this season. Only 53. Not even a full 90. He's played 0.6 of a full 90. I don't know how old he is. Let's find out. But I think that I can't see him. Oh, hello, Annie. He's 23. Sergio Gomez. He's not young. He's going to be 24 next season. I didn't actually realize he was that old. I thought he was like 21 or something. No, he's not young. He's 23 years old. He's going to be 24 in September. So starting next season, he'll be 24. And he's nowhere close to even being a role player at Man City. He's not even like a sort of like a Rico Lewis, Nunez situation where you think that he's going to get some minutes or whatever. He's a veteran of the game. No, for all comps, it's a bit better, to be fair. If I go to all comps. But that tells me that, I'm sorry, this sounds harsh, that tells me he doesn't have a future at City. He's in all competitions, he's played 441. So he's played 590 minutes across all competitions. He's had 4 starts. So that's going to be in dead rubbers in the Champions League, League Cup, FA Cup. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. For me, he's not got a place in the squad. I don't know what his position is. He's not a left back. He can't defend. Like out of possession. So I don't really know what he is. I think that we either I think we sell him in the summer or we like loan him out. Jimmy Five Chin says in attack but not good enough to take anyone's spot. We should sell him, says Nova. Yeah, I don't. He hasn't played left, but well, he's barely played, has he? I don't really know what future he has out of the club, if any. We're going to be we know we're going to bring in. It's a good point, Brand. Yeah, 100%. It looks like he should probably move on just for the good. 100% agree with that, Brand. Totally agree. Where's his place in this team? If he was competent at defending, then this system we've got where the fullback goes to the wings would be suited for him. But he's not good at defending. I don't think he is a defender. I think he's a forward player, but he's never going to play for us up top. So it's largely an irrelevant exercise for him to be here. Loan him out, sell him, whatever. We've also got to consider we're going to be, the talent we're going to be bringing in. We're going to be hopefully bringing in at least one offensive fullback, more midfielders, and maybe another winger in addition to Savio. Yeah, I think he's done. He played a 10 at Anderlecht, and he's never going to play in midfield for us. I mean, we know how good Oscar Bob is in the midfield, and he barely gets any midfield minutes. Foden doesn't always get into the midfield. So, yeah, it's not happening. Jimmy says, I think he would work at left wing back with a back 3, but Pep moved away from that after. But yeah, as an out-and-out wing back, maybe. But as a player who starts in full back and then goes to the wide play areas, I don't think that's a thing. Who's best, Mbappe or Haaland? I think Mbappe is the better player currently, but there's no reason why Haaland can't become a better player. And I tell you what, I'd much rather Haaland at my club than Mbappe. I'm just going to say that. Only FO position he hasn't played in his career is centre back. Yeah, mad. But yeah, so I think that he should probably move on. I think he's done. The Núñez one is interesting. Núñez has played less minutes this season than Ortega. He's played less minutes than De Bruyne, who's missed half a season. Less minutes than Jack Grealish, who's been out injured for Christ knows however long. Less minutes than Stones, who's been injured for Christ knows how long. Less minutes than Doku. Less minutes than Rico Lewis. I don't know what's going to happen with Núñez. The only players who've played less minutes than him are Oscar Bob, Gomez, Calvin Phillips, and then you go into youth players like Micah Hamilton, Palmer, Sissoko, etc. I have more minutes than Núñez. So, and he's not been injured really throughout this season. So I just don't quite know what the plan is for him. I like Núñez a lot, and here's the thing, guys. I like him a lot. I just struggle to see where he fits in long term if we let's say, for argument's sake, we do bring in both Paquetá and Bruno Guimaraes type, but we also want to promote Rico Lewis and give him more time in midfield, and Oscar Bob, we want to give him more time in midfield, and obviously Foden and De Bruyne. It becomes very tricky to think where he fits. For argument's sake, let's say we move on Kovacic. Just as a thought experiment, let's say we sell him in the summer because he was a stopgap and he's done well, but we now need to move on, whatever. So what would our options be? So we've got the box four, and let's also say Bernardo goes. In terms of our more offensive midfielders, because Núñez, I don't know if he's ever played. Has he ever played like alongside Rodri, like Kovacic has? I don't know if he has. I don't know if that's his long-term situation. But obviously Rodri's going to be locked in because he's Rodri. So that leaves 3 potential slots. Let's, for argument's sake, assume Núñez can play that position. 3 potential slots in the midfield. If we're assuming that he's going to play midfield. And Kova leaves and Bernardo leaves. So, De Bruyne, Foden, Bruno Guimaraes, Paquetá, Rico Lewis. Is there anyone else I'm missing? I don't know if I am. You can maybe include Oscar Bob in there if you'd like to. So there's 5 to 6 players for 2 to 3 positions. That seems a pretty big surplus to me. So I don't know if there's room for him, unless he can add another string to his bow. Maybe he can be like an auxiliary fullback. Maybe he can be an auxiliary wide player. Maybe he can sit alongside Rodri. I actually don't know. But basically, the long and short of it is, for him to have a future at City, if we bring in these players, he's got to add more strings to his bow. It's looking pretty long for him otherwise, because again, if we purely focus on the offensive players, so if we say, for example, there's left back Portuguese Delph, so if we say, Rodri and Stones at the base as an argument, that means there's 2 positions, it's more attacking positions. Again, Bruno, Paquetá, Foden, De Bruyne, Bob, Lewis, maybe. So suddenly there's now 6 players, Núñez, that's 7 players vying for 2 positions. I don't know if I see it if we bring in those players, in which case he's going to have to become more versatile, which would be very good, We might joke about the right back thing, but I tell you what, Brain Blast, Brain blast, guys. I still think we should sign a right back, an attacking one. But we now know that we are in a system whereby if we don't have a defender doing the John Stones situation, a fullback pushes up to the wings. Yes, we know that's a thing. We also know that Nunes can play on the wings. He can play out wide. Lots of tacticos have suggested that Nunes can play right back without the ball. He can cover ground easily. He's defensively astute. Nunes can be our right back, who then goes to right wing with the ball. Now we're talking. Does that have some legs? Maybe. Maybe. A marauding right winger who starts at right back. Could it be a thing? Is that a way to squeeze him into the side and getting some more minutes? Because as I say, as things stand, he's got less than our backup keeper. He has got less minutes than our backup keeper, guys. Kovacic, for it, by contrast, has played more than 1,000 more minutes. Hello, Annie. Brosby Deluge. I'm just trying to think of ways to get him into the squad. Trying to be realistic. This might still be a squad player. More games next season. Nunes needs more awareness of everything going around him. Brie, I agree. Nunes has a consistent coach. Manager at Wolves, he needs work. He does. And again, I like Nunes. But here is the harsh question that we need to ask ourselves. Oh. Had we signed Paquetá in the summer, would we have signed Nunes? And I think we can all agree the answer to that is no. So if the idea for Nunes was he was like a stopgap, or like a Paquetá player, or a Paquetá alternative, but then we go and sign Paquetá anyway, what does that make Nunes become? That makes Nunes a third choice option. Sorry, a fourth choice option. But then we go back and sign one of our preferred choices. So I actually don't know what that makes him. Joe said, I don't know where he fits in, just an extra body in the squad. And that's an expensive body as well. Didn't we spend like 50 million on him? Again, I hope it goes well, but I just don't know. Jimmy says he can take Bernardo's role. And that's the thing, Jimmy. If he can add that string to his bow of being a really solid option out wide. Like, I thought he played well at left wing when he had those two games. To be fair, was it against Bournemouth and Brentford, maybe? I thought he played really well. And I was up for him playing left wing at Anfield. So if he can keep doing that and be that utility player, then there is definitely a future for him. I'm just considering... Because I've been happy with his performances this season. I think he's been good. It's just a practical thing of Pep like small squads, and we might sign two midfielders in the summer, and we're only gonna unless we, and imagine if we don't sell Kova either. If we keep Kova, it makes it even a longer time. Do we need Paquetá? I think so, Salty. I personally think so. Pep's formation is about passing and moving team forward, not all ball carrying. He could be. Yes, I agree that he's still got a place. He's still got a long way to go. That's for sure. Guys, I'm going to end the stream here because we've been live for over 90 minutes now. We got to over 100 likes, which is what I was after. It's what we always target when we are live for these shows. Thank you so much. It does help grow the channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this show. A little bit chaotic when we did the team of the season, but hopefully it was still really enjoyable. Nunes plus 35 mil for Paquetá. I would not. Again, I like Nunes, but if he could somehow be used as a chip in a deal to get Paquetá to sweeten it, then or Bruno, then why not? So thank you so much for joining me, guys. I'll say it again, if you guys would like to go the extra mile, if you are able to, do consider becoming a member by joining the channel. You can click the little join button or the link in every single YouTube video description, like Jimmy is, for example. He's one of my beautiful channel members. He's got lots of perks In addition to my admiration, he's also got a gold name badge. He's got a little rat loyalty badge, which is now a silver badge because I think he's been a member for 3 months now. Thank you so much, Jimmy. And you also get exclusive emotes. So as I say, if you can support, do consider doing that. You also get your name in the YouTube credits at the end of all my videos. Until next time, guys, have a lovely rest of your evening. I'm going to be live tonight for the Real Madrid Bayern game. We'll be doing a watch along for that, so make sure to join me for that. If you haven't already done so, do make sure to follow Twitch, because we do more streams over there. So if you want more Nobbins content in your life, do make sure to follow the Twitch. We're currently doing Football Manager. That's the main thing we're doing over there. If you want to see me fail and capitulate, come join over there. Until tonight, guys, I'll see you for Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich in the Champions League second leg semi-final. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for your support. Goodbye, guys.